Phrases and clauses. Phrases and clauses are small group of words. They are added to make sentences more clear and interesting. Phrases do not make sense on their own, but clauses make sense on their own. Let's do a further study about phrases. Two or more words together make a phrase. The weather. The weather is a phrase. Bright and fine is a phrase. So, if we put these phrases together, they can make a sensible sentence. The weather is bright and fine. The phrases alone do not make any sense unless they are combined to make a sentence. There are different types of phrases. Let's recognize the different types of phrases. The sky was gloomy and cloudy. The phrase gloomy and cloudy describes about the sky. So, a phrase that describes a noun is called an adjective phrase. The hare ran into the forest. The phrase into the forest describes about where the hare ran to. So, if a phrase describes how, when, or where the action had happened, they are called adverb phrases. And also if a noun follows the definite article the, or if a noun follows an indefinite article a, or if the noun follows that, this, these, those, which are called demonstrative adjectives, they are called noun phrases or determiners. So there are adjective phrases, adverb phrases, and noun phrases. Now let's find out about clauses. Look at this sentence. The weather was fine, so we went to play. Now you can see two sentences separately, and each part makes sense on their own. The weather was fine, so we went to play. Clauses make sense on their own. So the first part of the sentence is called the main clause because the main subject is at the beginning, and the rest is called the subordinate clause. We call it the subordinate clause because it's less important than the main clause. And usually, subordinate clauses begin with a conjunction or joining words. Let's move on to a further study about clauses. Now look at this sentence carefully. Leaves fall as the wind blows. As the wind blows is the subordinate clause. Subordinate clauses are also called adverb clauses because they describe when, did the leaves fall? So, as a subordinate clause has a subject, a verb, begins with a conjunction, and describes why, when, or how the action had happened, it's called an adverb clause. Look at the adverb clause here to check the above conditions. Has a subject. The wind is the subject. Has a verb. Blows is the verb. Begins with a conjunction, as. Answers the question, when. When do leaves fall? As the wind blows. An adverb clause can come at the beginning of a sentence too. As the wind blows, leaves fall. Remember, when you begin a sentence with a conjunction, by bringing the adverb clause to the front, add a comma to separate the subordinate clause and the main clause. These type of sentences are called fronted adverb clauses. Let's move on to an exercise on recognizing phrases and clauses. This is very high. Very high. Is it a clause or a phrase? Yes, it's a phrase. I can climb because there's a ladder. Because there's a ladder. Is it a clause or a phrase? Yes, it's a clause. Why do we call it a clause? Because it begins with a conjunction. It's an adverb clause. This ball is too light. This ball. Is it a phrase or a clause? The word this follows the noun ball. This is a demonstrative adjective. So, this ball is a phrase. If I run fast, I can have another turn. If I run fast. Is it a phrase or a clause? Yes, it's a clause. A fronted adverb clause. Well done! Now you can clearly recognize the difference between phrases and clauses.